It's the final countdown. What do you guys say we get this show started? Let's go! Well, it's the start of a new week. It's Sunday. It's Sunday night, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock my time, actually. What's going on, everybody? Chris Ballard here, Ballard Sports Media. Love each and every one of you. I hope everyone's doing great. I hope everyone had an awesome week last week. Obviously, if you heard news on Friday, or really, I think I broke it Thursday on the morning show. It was a rough week for me. I had a car wreck. The car's not fine. I'm fine. I know that's what matters. Just got to move forward and learn from it and everything. Everyone's okay. But forget about that. It's over and done with. Before we get into the topics tonight, and I will drop the StreamYard link later on and talk to you guys as always. Let's see who we got in here. We got my boy Nate Kingston. Nate the Great, don't be late. What's going on, buddy? What's up, Jacob Watson? Georgia Forever? Of course, myself in here talking with you guys as we hype the show up. What's up, Bet? Jesus, what we got here? Yeah, we got Jesus here, baby. Let's go. We got Jesus up in here. I did not have to walk to work. I did not, Bet. That is a fat lie. But how about the Olympics, man? Just got started. Opening ceremony, I believe, was Friday night. No, I think Thursday night actually was the opening ceremony. We've had some basketball. We've had swimming. We've had quite a bit going on. And, of course, these last for like 2 full weeks. It's always great. I was very disappointed last year we didn't get the Olympics because we had a pandemic that was going on. So far, when you look at this, too, by the way, just catch everybody up. I am no expert on the Olympics. I'm just going to be straight with you. All I can do right now for you guys is share what I'm reading here. So China practically is doing the best right now. Combined medals so far, they have 11. Japan has 6. United States has 10. South Korea has 5. And then ROC in 5th with 7. But, of course, if you notice, which actually I really don't know how they rank these right here. 6 gold medals so far for China, 5 for Japan, 4 for the United States, who I'm pulling for, obviously, as an American. The only country really that I, truly, I care. I'm not trying to be hypocritical, but let's be honest. As an American, you're only pulling for America. That's really it. What's up, Trenches? It's so far, it's a great start. It's not bad. So you got 3-on-3 basketball. I've been watching some of that, the pool round. United States beat ROC. Hold on one second. Let me double check something. I think is ROC, that's Russia somewhere. Russian Olympic Committee. I was just trying to double check and make sure I understood what that was. So United States beats the Russian Olympic Committee 20-16 in the pool round on 3-on-3 basketball in the women's round or tournament. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I've watched some of this so far. I can only read to you this stuff. I am not an Olympics expert when it comes to reading some of this. Seriously. What's up, Trenches? We lost to skateboarding in Japan, WTF. We lost to Japan in skateboarding. Yeah, well, still it was in Japan. I mean, it's in Tokyo, so I didn't get that wrong completely. Yeah, I don't know how that happens. Don't we have like Tony Hawk or whatever? I know he's probably not competing this year or whatever, but I mean, still, skateboarding. I did see that. Anyway, and it goes on. All I can say is so far it's so good. There's a lot more to come, right? We still got all the swimming, archery, gymnastics, all that stuff. So far, I think it's a great start just in terms of, it's great to see the Olympics that we were supposed to have last year happening this year. But obviously, Team USA all the way. And quite honestly, I mean, I don't know. Beach volleyball, USA over, I guess, was that Italy? I believe. Let me see this here. Yeah, Italy. Adrian Ignacio Carambula Raric from Italy and Enrico Rossi, those two representing the country of Italy, went up against Jake Gibb and Tri Bourne in men's beach volleyball. And Bourne and Gibb worked together, and I guess they won the tournament. Again, like I said, guys, I'm trying to follow this. I can watch this stuff. I am not the biggest, I don't know the I'm not an Olympian expert. I'm just being straight up with you guys. But Team USA all the way. I say it's off to a great start so far. USA has lost a couple things, but it's great to see everybody healthy. It's just great to see these again, man. We were supposed to have them last year. Obviously, we had a pandemic going on back then last year. Now it's like, what do we have going on? Seriously. So we have that. But, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we could talk the Olympics later on. I'll drop the StreamYard link soon. Hold on just 1 second. Let me check something. All right. Next topic of conversation brings us to college football, obviously. What kind of stream is this? We talk college football. We don't talk college football. Is it going the right direction? Is college football going the right direction, folks? Upward trend, or is it a downward fall? I'm not talking about recruiting. Look, it's the same old teams in recruiting, right? You're looking at that. It's Oklahoma, it's Bama, Clemson, Georgia in recruiting. We get all that, blah, blah, blah. But what about the NIL? What about the playoff expansion? I guarantee you 9 out of 10 people you survey everybody are against both of those. I don't know how I feel. It intrigues me that players can profit off their brand or their name. That intrigues me. But it's just crazy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with how it was 10, 20, and all of history ago, where college athletes couldn't make money. Nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong. Oh, you're going to pay pro athletes, but you're not going to pay college athletes? First off, that's why they ultimately work harder in college, so they can ultimately go to the pro league, so they can ultimately make money then. I like the idea, okay, here's the thing. What if they gave them set rules of how they spend their money? If you said, okay, you get this money, it helps pay for college, it helps support your family, it helps you do this, don't be blowing it on casinos or whatever. Just throwing some stuff out there, folks. I could understand, I need help with tuition costs and stuff. I understand some colleges offer scholarships, but there's only so many you can give out, and not every athlete can get a scholarship. So, of course, there's other athletes can't get a scholarship. You need the money. You need help with tuition and stuff, right? Pay them. Pay them. But now that I look at it, man, I see something about NIL every other day, and it's just crazy. I can't wrap my head around how we got here in college football. We're going to pay athletes to make their name a brand. Oh, and not only that, we've been in this playoff era for half a decade. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and expand it. We've been talking 8 teams, 16, 32, 64, all these different formats, all these different scenarios and what we want to do. And now we're sticking a 12-team playoffs. It's just crazy. I don't know. I love college football, believe me, just as much as the next man up, right? I love it just as much as all of you do that are watching this. We love college football. We will always love college football. You can't take it away from us. It's very important to the fans, the game itself, and how it's played, right? I'm not fully against, not completely against the idea of college athletes making money. But I mean, they're going to be making like thousands and millions of dollars. I mean, it's the NFL in college. Why can't it just be grab a couple $200, $300 and be done with it? Now they're profiting, making 10 grand or whatever, just to go sign with Coca-Cola to put their face on a bottle. And I mean, it's crazy where it's going. I'm not full on board with the NIL, honestly. I'm just not. I'm sorry. I'm out of that, right? Let's put it in Shark Tank. I'm out. Sorry. I'm not investing in this company. The playoff expansion. I'm for expanding the playoffs past 4 teams. I think it should have been 8. I don't think that 12, 12 teams is too much, in my opinion. And you know why? You know why they're doing this too? This isn't to make it easier on the committee. That's why I think they should do it. It make it easier on the committee because look at how many years it's been controversial for 4 teams. They're doing this because of Bama and Clemson, and you know it. Let's see if we could get 12 teams in there. Someone's going to knock off the champs. Let's put it to you this way. Let's say we have 12 teams in the playoff, like we're fixing to have in a couple years. Okay, you get 12 teams. You get the Power 5 champs. Let's say we get Bama, we get Clemson. Let's go Ohio State. Let's go Oklahoma. And then the Pac-12, let's say like USC or Oregon. Let's go USC. I don't know. Take your pick from the Pac-12. You get those teams in there. Okay, you get 5. You get the Power 5 champs. Let's say also you get an undefeated Notre Dame in there or a 1-loss Notre Dame. Okay, well, you don't have to win your conference to make the playoffs. You should. Notre Dame played a pretty good schedule. Their only loss was, let's say, a road game at USC. It was pretty close. They ran the table. They blew everybody else out. They've had one of the best defenses, so they're in. So you get the Power 5 champs. You get a Notre Dame in there. Then what? There's this 1-loss SEC team and I don't know, A&M like we had last year. Didn't win their division. Didn't make their conference. They're an at-large bid. And we're going to put them in there. You get all these different teams. Who's winning? Who's winning? First off, you got teams with buys. You get Clemson. You get the Ohio States. You get the Alabamas. You get the Oklahomas with first-round buys, right? The first-round games are going to be great. Because like a Texas and Notre Dame scenario. Or let's say you get a Oregon and Cincinnati. Or let's say, I don't know, let's say Wisconsin's having a good year. They get a bid. They're like a 1-loss, or they were undefeated and they won the West, but they lost to Ohio State in a close Big Ten title. Okay, you got Wisconsin in there. They're playing a team like, Let's go Pac-12. Wisconsin, Colorado. I don't know. Colorado seemed like they were okay last year, but they were like 4-1. It really last year is meaningless outside of the teams that did make the playoffs. But you get all these teams. You get matchups again like Oregon, USC, or Colorado, and it's something like Texas or Notre Dame, right? You get all of that. Any team outside of like Oklahoma, Bama, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, outside of like maybe those 5 teams, you get matchups where you want to watch it because you really don't know much about what's going to happen. Then those teams have to play Bama, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State. They have to play them. And as much as I hate to admit it, as much as I hate to say it, you know what's happening. The predictability is ridiculous. Forget about how great Bama was last year. Forget about how great they were really all year long. Even if they were slightly not as good, would you have picked Notre Dame to win that game? No, because it's Alabama. It's Alabama. Same with Clemson. Were you picking Clemson with Trevor Lawrence? Okay. Oh, Notre Dame won in South Bend at home in a full stadium, and they beat Clemson in double overtime. Whoop-de-doo. Guess what? Clemson had DJ Uiagalelei. He's great. Don't get me wrong. He's not Trevor Lawrence yet. We'll see what he does. I think he could be something. But let's be honest. If Trevor Lawrence was in that game, I think Clemson wins that. There have been certain scenarios and situations in these upsets in college football that if only they had this player or that player, or they didn't do this or that, then this team would not have been upset and the favorite wins the game. Right? Overall, what I'm trying to get at is predictability with the playoffs. This is why they're expanding the playoffs, whether you like it or not, and whether it's going to matter or not. Is because it's the same 4 teams every year. It's Ohio State, it's Oklahoma, it's Bama, and it's Clemson. On occasion, Notre Dame. One time, Georgia. Right? You get that. They want more than that. They're sick and tired of Ohio State. They're sick of Bama. They're sick of Clemson. They're sick of Oklahoma, even though they haven't won a playoff game. But, I mean, come on. They're still getting in there, right? They're sick of it. So we're going to expand to 12 teams. Maybe they could catch them napping a bit, right? Maybe. I still believe in this any given Saturday an upset could brew in college football. But if we're being realistic, isn't Saban going to have his team ready? Isn't Dabo going to have his team ready? They've learned from losses. Kirby's smart if he has a full, healthy JT Daniels leading his offense. Are they going to be ready? I see Jacob Watson in here. I'm sorry I'm missing all the comments. I see him say, all they have to do is restrict roster or restrict recruiting. Think about recruiting. That's the thing. Recruiting is the lifeblood of college football. Top 5 classes, top 10 classes. Now, you can't just Georgia recruited Justin Fields. Did that make him great? No. You can't recruit a 5-star and say you're a great team. You got to put him on the field and see how he does. You got to give these guys a chance. Alabama's trying to recruit this Ty Simpson kid. If they get Ty Simpson, but Nick Saban says, no, I don't want to play Ty Simpson. I'm going to play Jalen Milroe over Ty Simpson. Right? What is it? No offense to Jalen Milroe. Milroe looks pretty good, but he's 4-star, and Ty Simpson's a great, talented quarterback. That's 5-star, and a lot of people are hyping up. If you can have all the 5-stars you want. You can have all the talent you want. If you're not putting the best players on the field, then having them on the roster is useless. I'm sorry to do this to you, Georgia, but go back to Justin Fields. He was given a chance not to start, but to play. But imagine if he had played for Georgia. If he had been named starter over Jake Fromm, honestly, and I know I've said a few things, I make jokes like he's assistant quarterback. That's a jab at Kirby Smart. Because he knows good and well, I know good and well, college football knows good and well, that he should have started Justin Fields over Jake Fromm. No doubt about that. You can't have, having Trevor Lawrence on the roster didn't just make Clemson great. Putting him in over Kelly Bryant in 2019, his freshman year? 2018, I'm sorry. Putting him in over Kelly Bryant pushed them forward to get the offense where it needed to be. That they went on to win the championship against the Crimson Tide. Hate to admit it, but just being fair here. Right? All these teams, they have the recruits. All these teams, the players and everything. Just getting a 5-star quarterback or a running back doesn't make you great. Put it on the field. Have him win you football games. Have that guy go out there and dominate. College football, I don't know. I hate to admit it, but honestly, you look down here. Is it going upwards or is it going downwards? I feel like ultimately in the end, you might see a downward fall. That doesn't mean it's going to be bad and suck, but I just feel like this whole NIL deal, these players are getting endorsement deals and they're loading up on money before they even talk to an NFL agent, where they're already going to be millionaires within a decade, multi-millionaires if they're lucky. They're already getting a couple $100,000, $100,000 off these brands in college. Sponsorships. I mean, the two main topics of this, is it right to expand the playoffs? Because look, you expand the playoffs, it makes it easier on the committee, first off, if you have controversy at number 4 spot. Well, like last year, it was Notre Dame that got in. There was talk about A&M. It should have been A&M from what we hear. Cincinnati seemed like a good pick. USC. I mean, there were a few teams right there. Expanding the playoff makes that a little easier. I know there's guidelines like pick the Power 5 champs and then maybe group of 5 or whatever. I know there's guidelines. But even with the 4 teams, you can't get all Power 5 champs in. Even if they all are undefeated or have a loss, you can't get all 5 in. It's 4 teams. So you're stuck picking, okay, we're taking Ohio State, Bama, and Clemson. But are we going to go Oklahoma or are we going Oregon or USC or whoever comes out of the Pac-12? Who are you taking? So is this expansion right? I think it'll be great. I think there's got to be some good games in round 1, right? If the higher seeds, the first 4 teams get a bye, you're talking again. Let's go with the 4 main teams we see every year. Ohio State, Bama, Clemson, Oklahoma / Georgia. Let's stick with Oklahoma. You get those teams in. You get them in. Okay, that's great. The first round games, you're stuck with Cincinnati, Notre Dame. You're stuck with let's say, give me a good one. Let's take an ACC team. North Carolina seems like they're on a good track. Let's say you get North Carolina and Oregon. That could be interesting, right? You get those exciting first round matchups. Teams like North Carolina beat Oregon. We got upsets brewing. Oh, man, this could be something. This is like March Madness with the Cinderella team. And then you get to the semifinals or quarterfinals or whatever the next round may be. And then they face a team like Clemson. They face the Ohio States. They face Alabama. And not only do they lose, they're blowouts. What even the hell was the point of winning that first game where we're just going to go to the next round and get our butts handed to us. I like the idea of expansion for more football games, and that's it. Is it going to matter really much, though, if it's going to be favorite after favorite that wins, and there's not really going to be upsets in these 12-team playoffs? I don't think so. So overall, I don't know. I want to hear from you guys. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link. Go ahead and hop on, and we'll get you on. But overall, with the NIL, I mean, good luck to these players. I honestly don't like the idea of players making money in college. And then as far as the 12-team playoffs go, I like the idea of expansion playoffs. I like that idea. But if it's going to be the favorites that always win, and it's going to be blowout after blowout, then what the heck is the point? We'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out. Anyway, let's go ahead. What's up, Huffer Billy, and what's up, Nate? How y'all doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. Let me turn this up here. Let's just hang out. What's up?
It's a very good topic, and it's my passion, by the way.
Yeah.
This is one
What's
of my.
going on, everybody?
What's up?
Oh, Stetson Bennett's son. Awesome.
Is that Jacob?
Yeah.
No, it's Rich. Or Billy.
No, I'm talking about Stetson Bennett's son. I think that's normal.
Oh, he's okay. Well,
what were you gonna say? What were you gonna say, Huffer Billy?
I'm just saying that this has become my this triggers me. This topic, both NIL and NIL. I'm almost okay with, but there's some things about it I think they are going to have to do something about. But the playoff thing, this problem, if people don't see this coming, like you were saying, the first round will be interesting, and that's great for the fans. It's great for the money. But the second round is going to be a bludgeoning.
Right.
And it's always going to be that way because there's the semi-pro group, Ohio State's Big Ten winners, ACC winner, SEC winner, and was Big 12 until Texas and Oklahoma leave, and maybe not. But you got the big boys, and then you've got the Boise States and some of the Memphises and stuff, and you can throw a Cincinnati in there, and they may win one game, but they're not going to win 2 in a row, 3 in a row against this.
Yeah,
and it's crazy. And the biggest problem is it makes everybody feel warm and fuzzy inside, like, oh, we're opening up, and we've got more options. But at the same time, you're going to have players looking at those games players who are really going to go to the NFL the next year and saying, why am I putting myself in harm's way in these games? They're going to opt out just like they do with meaningless bowl games. That's what's going to happen. It's going to turn into a meaningless bowl game.
Right. And then they're going to look back on it like 5 years from now, and they're going to be like, we really spent because, they've been talking about expansion for quite a few years, and it was ultimately like, oh, let's do 16 teams or 8. No one really said much about 12 teams, but you imagine being the playoff committee. And again, I still think like the 2019 LSU team that kind of happened out of nowhere kind of proved to me that not every year, but every once in a blue moon, you might have that team like, I don't know. I'll be nice to you, Nate. Let's say Michigan gets it taken care of. They could run the table out of nowhere. But anyway, I mean, like,
but they got to run. But they got to run. Here's the thing: they got to run the table. This is the thing. The teams don't just get it because they were close but no cigar. Run the table, and that's called competition. And anytime
that's what LSU did.
Yes,
it worked out.
They
every once in a while, it seems like maybe it could be someone outside of the Ohio States, the Georgias, the Clemson, the Bama. But that's one of those, maybe, we look at it years from now and it's like, that's only like a once in a decade thing in the playoff. We haven't even we've only been in this for like 7 years.
Yeah.
So we really don't know. But ultimately, if it's going to be like what LSU did in 2019, if that's going to be it only happens once every 10, 15 years type of thing, and even expanding the playoffs, it's still not going to help anybody out that much. Then why are we going through all this trouble to do it?
The best case scenario is to only go to 8.
Right.
Because 12 is really ridiculous, and 8's stretching it, but at least it gives Texas A&M a shot, right? I mean, I feel bad. I actually felt a little bad for them last year because they played a whole schedule and lost one game. Now they lost it badly
to Alabama. I mean, it wasn't like they went on the road and got blown out by Vandy. No, this was Alabama who did the same thing to literally every other team.
Well, I do believe sometimes teams come out flat in a game. Go ahead, Jacob. Yep.
In my opinion, 8 teams is way too much. That's just my opinion.
What would you go to? 6?
I don't know how to do it 6.
I would say at 4, honestly.
Okay.
I'm fine. Hey, look, I don't think anybody. Well, maybe there are some people that hate the 14 playoff, and obviously there's those crybabies out there that want to go back to the BCS. Which why you want to do that, I don't know. But I love the 14 playoff how it is right now. I just think that, like, even I know it was COVID last year, but again, I was just mentioning you had teams like Cincinnati. Again, A&M was right there. I think you had a USC. I think you had a few teams that could have qualified for that 4th spot. And who got in? A team, and no offense, Hufford, but I mean, it was a title game that they did lose, and it was a blowout to Clemson, and they put Notre Dame in. You put a team that not only lost their conference game, lost in a blowout. I mean, you had other teams that ultimately had a blowout loss like A&M did to Alabama early on in the year, but they turned it around late to kind of push forward and say, you know what, maybe we still have some hope. Yeah. And then you put a team that, first off, ain't even in a conference now. They only joined so they could play, period. But, I mean, that's just –
don't get me started on Notre Dame. That's a
I'm sorry.
Kind of hate if you really want to understand where I'm coming from.
Did you hear some rumors about Michigan, Ohio State maybe going to SEC?
That's not going to happen.
No,
I'm sick of it. This whole we're changing conference thing is pissing me off. Y'all need to just suck it up.
I know, right?
It's making me mad too.
I can tell.
There's nothing wrong with how the conferences are set up. It's been fine. And nobody look. Every once in a while, people come out and say, you know, what would happen if this team were over here, or if this conference never changed, or whatever. Every once in a while. But now it's ultimately like, okay, Texas is leaving the Big 12. Yeah. Oklahoma's leaving the Big 12. Why?
That ruined the Big 12.
Because they want to come to the SEC and get their butts handed to them every year. Come on.
The problem with the Big 12, Nate, is they don't have the recruiting cachet, and they just aren't there. And so they know the SEC is going to put that emblem on that jersey, and that'll bring people. And they'll get over the hump. Oklahoma's probably over the hump, but Oklahoma realizes they're in a pit full of snakes over there anyway. So they want to get out and come to SEC. So I get the motivation, but the problem that I would worry about as the SEC is, hell, everywhere there's been a Texas UT involved, the damn conference blows up. I mean, I don't want it to do that to the SEC. They better protect themselves here. They got to beware of that Texas bad mojo. That's all I'm going to be honest.
I kind of wish that Texas and Oklahoma weren't joining the SEC, but
at the very least, you know what we could do? And I even said this, because if you add those two teams, it's like the SEC is officially a super conference with 16. I think 14. I in my opinion, and this is I hope y'all don't take this the wrong way, but I don't think a conference should have more than 12 teams anyway.
I agree. I totally agree.
If we are kicking out teams, first off, Vandy's out of the SEC just for embarrassment. Second off, Tennessee's on a downward spiral. I like the Josh Heupel hire. He seems like a great guy, but my goodness, I mean,
Well,
when are they going to get a grip? I don't know. Vandy officially is out. That opens the door for somebody like Texas. Now we got to kick somebody else out for Oklahoma.
Maybe
What?
South Carolina.
Kick South Carolina out and bring Clemson in. That would be your most
Oh,
easy
now
choice.
Clemson wants to join the party. Here we go.
No, I just think that it's crazy.
Here's-
No, I think it's crazy that Clemson isn't there.
Hey, South Carolina could get out and go back to the ACC.
God help us. No.
Here's
Then you don't have to. Hey, then you don't have to miss them if we ever have conference only again.
here's the thing with kicking out Tennessee and Vandy is that they probably won't do that because Tennessee and Vandy are pretty good at other sports.
Well,
Right.
that's true.
So if they were to kick out two teams, I'd say probably South Carolina, Mississippi State because they're not really good at many sports.
And South Carolina's got a good women's basketball team.
I mean,
And-
nobody cares about that.
And plus, Mississippi State just won a freaking national championship.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
just one sport.
didn't they win the men's World Series or something?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but
Well, I
that's
mean,
just one
Mississippi State's not even bad. They're not even now. They I think Joe Moorhead, the previous coach before Mike Leach got there, I don't think he was a great hire, and he definitely did some things just kind of screw him up. But even before that, I mean, you go back to when Mullen was coaching there, they were winning six plus games. I mean, they were doing pretty good. Then Dave Mullen gets an offer from Florida, takes that, and Mississippi State doesn't know what to do with themselves. But, I mean, Mississippi State's not, they're kind of one of the worst teams in the SEC, at least for right now. But, I mean, it's not like they've always been this way. I mean, they have given teams some trouble.
They won't be that way for long.
No.
Not with
Leach.
Yeah.
He can pick it up. Hey, I'm telling you, man, Bama, you can sit there and say automatic win for the West, but even though he had his comments and now we like to joke about it, I'm not sleeping on Jimbo. And then I'm also, after last year's game, I do think Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin is getting that offense started. I really do. I'm not sleeping on that too much. Their defense sucks, but I'm just saying.
So I wanted to bring introduce. I don't think anybody here may have heard this because it's off the beaten trail.
Right.
But Pickett for Pittsburgh, he had his NIL opportunity.
Did he?
And he hooked up with a restaurant chain.
What?
And what he did, I don't know if everybody knows, but he basically said, I want my offensive line with me in this deal, and they get to eat free whenever they come to your restaurant. How smart is that?
Wow.
That's smart, but
That's crazy. That's amazing, though. That's not a bad idea.
I mean, dang, man. I mean, I heard that and it gave me goosebumps. Somebody thinking ahead, instead of just for themselves, they're thinking about the whole situation. That was awesome.
Yeah.
It won't be fair for the customers, though.
Why? What are the customers going to suffer? The company.
They're going to suffer from crybabies, which they are.
Maybe. But anyway, I thought that was one way to look at the NIL.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather have 6 conferences of 12 teams than 4 conferences of 16 teams.
I would too, but the problem I'm having, and I like the 14 playoff, but I think there's that edge team every year that everybody goes, well, why do they deserve it over this one? And that's
what I was saying earlier. Is that's why I think if any reason to expand the playoffs is just to end the arguments and babies with controversy. First off, there's never going to you can find in an 18 playoff. Okay, 8 teams that could be meet qualifications to get in. First off, But I mean, you're not going to have. You're not going to have 4 other teams. It's normally 2 teams for that 4th spot when they're battling. And I don't know. It's just 12.
No,
really?
No.
we talked about the people that want the BCS back, but I mean, I didn't really ever think the BCS was that bad. And maybe I mean, is there really 4 teams that can win a natty?
On a rate, I mean, I was mentioning
not
earlier.
necessarily.
There's Clemson, there's Ohio State, there's Oklahoma, and there's Bama. And I'll even be nice. I'll throw Georgia in there. But let's be honest. It starts with Bama and Clemson. And you have to get to them. And if they're in the way in that first round in the 14 playoff, like we've seen 9 times out of 10, guess what? Not only are you losing to them, it's been blowouts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the playoff is the best. The 14 playoff is the best system we can have. But the BCS wasn't bad either, in my opinion. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if we went back to that.
I do like the 14 playoff better than the BCS, but at the same time, I get what you're saying. Like 1 and 2, we had some of the best games with 1 and 2. I mean, you could go back all of history, and it's been amazing. What's up, Jeff? How you doing? I mean, we obviously have to hear his thoughts on all this.
In Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, the Klingon sergeant was standing on the bridge of the Enterprise, and he tells the captain, "There's no one here. There's only one thing talking, a computer."
Yeah.
And he says, "Let me hear it. 6, 5, 4. Get out of there!" 3, 2. That's what's happening right now.
Right. I got you.
Self-destruct mode is on
for college
football, and we're
right?
about to blow up most of what makes college football unique.
Yep.
Well,
now,
here's something.
Maybe there's a silver lining in here. This has hardly been touched upon, but if this conference realignment starts to fall into, it doesn't even have to get very far down the road. It just has to start. If the dominoes start tumbling before the vote for a 12-team playoff is approved, you could fall back into a no on the 12-team, go back to the chalkboard and start it all over again, and then they come up with a new system, this time with 8. And I could live with an 8-team playoff. I don't like it, but I could live with an 8 better than I can with the 12.
I mean,
I fully agree.
I guess I could live with 8.
Now, in my perfect world, I mean, if they made me king and I got to design everything, I would have the conferences have 2 divisions of 6 teams each. And what would happen is you would play the other 5 teams on your side, and then the other 6 teams, you would have a permanent rival crossover, and then you would play 4 of the other 5. So every year there's one team in your conference you don't play.
Right.
And it's from the other side, and that rotates so that it's an every 6-year rotation.
Yep.
And it gives you 10 conference games, and you play 1 non-conference games, and your regular season is limited to 11.
Right. So
that would be my perfect world, which of course is not going to happen, but that would be my perfect world.
So I'm looking and I'm showing you guys, these are last year's rankings. This is actually, I think, let me double check. This is before before the playoffs happened. So we know these were the 4 teams: Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, Notre Dame. You had an A&M. You had an unbeaten Cincinnati. You had Indiana in there. You had USC at 5-1. They didn't play enough games, honestly. You had BYU, like Louisiana. You go back, and I mean, it's easier if I just go back and find whatever week it was before the playoffs were selected. But anyways, like you had quite a few teams that looked like they could have qualified. Like Louisiana was right there at 9-1, but again, like teams like that probably aren't getting in. I don't know if we're ever picking a Sun Belt team, but
I mean, you look at the 12 here. Just start with that. Let's look at
what that would have looked like, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coastal, Indiana, Iowa State,
Yep.
Actually, Iowa State's one of the ones that I'd put in my 18 playoff, but I'm correct. No, not last year, but I'm saying they have an opportunity to do what
This
Texas
year.
A&M did,
Well,
and I expect that. Right?
In a 12-team playoff last year, you'd be looking at 5 versus 12. So A&M, Carolina.
Holy
no,
Oklahoma
Notre
and-
Dame can't be in top 4.
Oh my.
Look at the left hand.
That's right.
The left-hand side.
Oh yeah, we because
So
we
you see
won't
what I'm,
take
you see what I'm
conference
talking about?
champions. We
It'd
only
be
take
Notre Dame
conference
versus
champions.
12.
Notre Dame would have a first-round bye, so you'd have 5 versus
No,
12.
Notre
No,
Dame
they
wouldn't be
wouldn't.
in
They
the 12
can't. That's
Why?
what I'm saying. They
Why?
can't.
Why?
Because
they won't
because
take
they have to
anyone
win a
but the
conference.
champs. In the
Yeah.
top
Oh
four.
yeah, because see, it does start with the first it starts with the conference champions. Now forget about what rules are set in place. Let's just focus. Forget about whatever rules they're putting into this 12-team playoff. Look at the very least. Let's just focus on who we have in the top 12 and what Jeff is trying to get at.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean,
Okay, I was just saying.
yeah, no, I get it though. I agree, but I mean, you would have had the first 4 seeds get a bye. So you have like Coastal and A&M, Oklahoma, Indiana, Iowa State, Florida, and I guess Georgia plays Cincinnati again. Jeff, what were you trying to say?
What I was trying to say is, if you look at the left-hand column,
Yeah,
and the 12-team playoff rules were in effect, Notre Dame not being a conference champion would not be number 4.
okay.
Texas A&M would not be number 5. Your number 4 would be Oklahoma. They're the next highest conference champion, and
In
at
the
8-2,
yeah.
8-2, even as good as they were playing, they did not deserve a spot ahead of Notre Dame or Texas A&M.
Right. But because they're a Power 5 champion,
They would have gotten it.
Right. Because that's just part of the setup. You know, you start with the Power 5 champs, the Pac-12, the ACC, SEC, Big 10, Big 12. You start with those, and then you take the at-large teams, you know, the one losses or, you know, like you have an undefeated Cincinnati or something like that, or an undefeated Notre Dame, whatever it might be, you know. But yeah, like he's saying, I mean, Oklahoma won the Big 12. They would have gotten one of those 4 spots. They probably would have been right there at 4 to start.
That's
I think it's more interesting if you look at that chart.
Yeah.
Again, we're looking at the left-hand side.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's more compelling if Georgia, Iowa State, Indiana, and Coastal Carolina disappear, and you've got 8. You've got Bama, Cincinnati, Clemson, Florida, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Texas A&M.
Yep.
It's more. The matchups are more compelling to me.
Yeah.
1 versus 8 than they are 5 versus 12. Now that's, you know, you can make an argument, whatever, and you can say, well, in this year it's going to be this team there. I'm just saying, look at your number, look at your whoever the hell your 5 seed is. I don't care who your 5 seed is. Let's say your 5 seed this year is Indiana. Whoever it is. 5-12 is not going to be as compelling a game. You know.
Right.
Because I mean, my God, what would have happened? What would have happened in this situation? What would have happened
in the 5-12?
if Coastal Carolina had done the unbelievable and knocked off Notre Dame? What do you think they're going to do against Alabama?
They're going to be in my 50.
They're going to get prison raped right off the field. It's going to be.
Doesn't really have mattered.
It's going to be 49-7 at half.
Right.
No one wants to see that.
No, that's the thing. It is, you know,
they could put
if it were a little different, like if Alabama wasn't as good as they are, and you looked at these teams like, you know, like let's take Alabama, Iowa State, and you said, you know what, they both got elite offense, similar head coaches. You know, I'm just giving an example. Like, if it was a little more even for teams like Bama, Clemson, Ohio State versus anybody else, like deserving of a 12-team playoff spot, then maybe you look at it and say, okay, these could be interesting matchups. But no, like Jeff was saying, Alabama would have beat the hell out of Coastal Carolina or Indiana or whoever it would have been. It's not fair.
They beat them so
Not fair.
bad.
It's not fair.
I mean, in the second half of the game, they could put Nick Saban at quarterback and still win.
Right.
What's up, Kevin? I honestly,
I look at Iowa State sitting there at 8-3, and I think of the season they had and what they could do this year.
right.
And then I look up at like 1, 2, 3, and like, could the Cyclones, who I saw in person 6 times out of those 11 games, could they have played with Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State? No.
No.
Now they did beat Oklahoma. They did
That's
beat
true.
Texas. They did mollywop Oregon. They looked good. They could have stayed with one of those teams for
Right.
a while. But they weren't going to beat. They're not going to beat one of those teams.
Yeah.
I think I will say I think Iowa State A&M would have been interesting though. Would you
Well,
have
trust me on this. The fact that Iowa State even has their logo on that list has the people in Ames in hysterics. I mean,
Hey, Matt Campbell.
they can't believe, the people up here cannot believe that anybody in the state of Georgia even knows that they exist,
Right.
that they're even being talked about by people who root for SEC schools is just
Got Mike Vick.
way beyond their experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but here's the thing, and this is what I was trying to get at way back, is any team can beat any other team once
Right.
on any given day, right? Like
Right.
I feel like there's just that time when you come out flat, and for I don't know why, and I don't think Nick Saban has it as often, but there are teams that will, and they get beat, and that changes the dynamic because once you're out, it's a single elimination.
Right.
And then it puts
Right.
some other, team, like let's just say if Iowa State only had one loss and got in, or even Texas A&M, and they played Clemson, and Clemson came out flat like they did against Ohio State. Guess what? They're at least in the final. It's one of those things where it spices it up a little bit. But I think 8 teams is as far as you go. You don't open this up to 12. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Because you have the you can always point to should Syracuse have beaten Clemson? Should South Carolina have gone to Athens and beaten Georgia? Should
I mean,
should Alabama have given up 30 points in the first half and lost to Joe Burrow and LSU when they actually owned them in the second half? No, but I mean, it happens. Like you say, Huff, on any given day, if the other team has enough talent and you decide to go lay an egg, somebody might cash in your chickens.
and that's what makes college football great.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that doesn't happen in the NFL. The NFL, the talent is too good. The bad teams in the NFL are stocked with athletic talent that we can't even comprehend. They're all so very, very good. But in college, you get these wild cards. You just never know, and that's what, like you say, that's what makes it exciting.
Yeah.
But you don't
think.
But
Go ahead.
I said the issue is that you don't really see too many of those upsets anymore. I mean, you did 5-10 years ago, but now you really don't.
But I don't think
Yeah.
the problem with 12 games or 12 teams is that you have to play a team that gets lightning once has to do it 2 or 3 times.
Right.
And I think with 8 at least you get good. You got in. Now it's time to go. They may not make it, but that's cool.
See, that's my argument against the UCFs,
Mm-hmm.
the Cincinnatis, the Memphises. Are you a sweetheart? Are you a Cinderella? Yeah. Do you look good at the dance? Yeah.
Right.
How good are you going to look at brunch tomorrow? when the dance is over, okay? You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna slog your ass through the Big Ten or the SEC schedule where you got to go to Tuscaloosa, then you host Ole Miss, then you host LSU, then you got to go to Auburn, Then you host Arkansas. Can you survive that week after week after week after week?
No.
Those teams, I don't
No.
think, can do that. They can't
Right.
survive that constant beat down every week.
Here's what I think about the. I think we need to obviously give this 12-team playoff a chance, but I think what's going to happen is you're going to see it happen one year, and who's going to win it? One of the 4 teams I've been mentioning, right? Oklahoma, Ohio State, Bama, Clemson, right? Let's say they look at it and they say, you know what? We hear what they're saying about same team, same team, same team. Let's give it 5 years with 12 teams, and if it's not working out, and it's still the same 4 or 5 teams that we saw prior, then we'll go back. So what's going to happen? Let's say it starts with like Clemson. They win it 1 year. They win it all. We're talking about champions here. Let's say it goes Clemson. Let's say Oklahoma has a year, Alabama, and you rotate. And let's say you give it 5 years, and 3 of those 5 were to Bama and Clemson or whatever. And how many Cinderella, like what's the March Madness term? Cinderella season, Cinderella team, you know, like for example, like UCLA made the Final Four last year out of nowhere, right? So
Right.
you might see one time a LSU type of miracle where somebody like an Iowa State runs the table or an Oregon or whatever. But then what happens? It just goes back. So so overall, you're looking at it like it's still Bama and Clemson invitational type stuff.
Well,
Why
we
did we
won't be
do
there.
that?
Now, let me be clear. Before you jump in, J-Dub, I don't believe Clemson will be there nearly as long as Bama will. Now,
I agree.
I don't. I just don't.
Can I ask why?
Well, but partly because there's only one. I really do believe Saban's a unicorn in a lifetime or in a generation. I really do, and he's got the right mentality and ability to adjust and levers, and he's like a Zen guy, right? He's just got it figured out. Dabo's trying, and I think Dabo does as close a job as he can, but he isn't going to be Saban, okay? And neither will Ryan Day in Ohio State. These are temporary things in time, other than Alabama. So people need to relax a little bit. We've got the playoffs. Yep. Clemson had to be ahead of the curve. They cashed in early. They got their goodie. But I don't think it's going to go on, the next 3, 4, 5 years. I really
don't. It's going to mix up a bit.
Here's a hot take. I feel like Clemson will probably never win a natty again, like in the next 5 years or so.
No, slow down. That is a hot take.
Jacob,
you say 5 years.
That's okay, man.
That is a hot take, but I
say that. But I'm telling you, there's a train rolling here. I mean, people don't realize we got the ability to do it. I don't know that we have the fire in the belly to do it.
I'm just gonna be honest.
Saban
I don't even think that's gonna happen. I just said that because I wanted to say a hot take.
Okay,
I got
man.
you.
That's okay. Man, I just don't want you to look like an idiot when this year we win it.
He's calling you out.
I'm not discounting Clemson, Oklahoma, Ohio State. I'm not discounting Georgia.
Roll
I'm
down
not
tide.
any of those teams' chances.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say what I said after the recruiting class for this year was announced.
Yep.
In signing day in February, and that is, unless something happens to Saban's health, and I know I'm going to get the Bama homer. I know I'm going to get the Bama homer comment. So go ahead and get it loaded up.
Yeah.
You better get them this year, because their offensive line and their linebackers are going to be
as hell.
Friggin' believable.
It will
22, 23, 24. That might be the best Saban has, might not yet have happened yet.
Well, and I don't doubt you. I don't doubt
I'm just trying to give an honest assessment here that he has so loaded up. If I was a Bama hater, I'd want to get him now. I don't want to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's the problem I had with what Ballard said a few minutes ago about the 12-team playoff.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you go to 12, you're never, ever, ever going backwards.
Okay, I can see that.
You don't go backwards. You don't take money off the table. It used to be 32 in basketball. They went to 64. Now they've got the play-in games. You don't shrink it. It used to be the BCS. Then it went to 4. Now they're talking about going to 12. You're not going to go back to 8. You're not going to go back to 4.
I could agree with that.
Once the cash is out there, whether anybody likes how it smells or not, they're going to grab the cash.
Yeah.
Even though it sucks for the fans.
So if they do go to 12, and it turns out that is too much, you like you said, you never go back. So it seems like if it goes to 12 teams, and it seems like one of those we need to go back, but they can't because they're just stuck there, then college football could pretty much be scred, right?
No. Here's
right.
But no,
right. And there's just
I'm gonna disagree a little bit on that.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm right. I'm just going to prognosticate a little bit. If this is going to be the way they're going to run the playoffs, then there'll be conferences.
Oops.
And only the super conferences will have teams in that 12 playoff. And the super conferences are semi-pro, whether you like it or not. It's going to be the Bamas and the Texases and to some extent, Clemson could be left out. Clemson, Ohio State, even Michigan, if they can get rid of the Harbaugh.
Yay!
You know,
Nate's excited. He's listening now.
They got to get rid of the Harbaugh thing. But you know what I'm saying? I think they're going to get the two or so almost like in AFC and NFC. In college football, and it's going to be a level above everybody else, and that's going to be who's going to dictate who's in the 12 national championship playoffs. Whether or not
which might, that might save the bowl system, because if you have Super Conference South and Super Conference North or whatever you want to call it, Super Conference Red and Super Conference Blue, I don't give a fuck what you call them. Then everybody else can go play in bowl games that all of a sudden matter.
Yeah.
Because, hey, we can't play for this. I mean, they're in a completely different division, but by God, we can still go win the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
We can be the best in our group.
Yeah.
Right.
And all of a sudden the bowl games might matter more.
Meeting.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing
that's
about
what I miss is
here's the thing.
I miss when bowl games had meaning. Go ahead, Huffer Billy.
So here's what really gets me to this 12-team playoff. It pits really, inferior teams against really good teams. The bowls always pit people in equal genres. They're at least competitive bowl games. This 12-game playoff thing will kill. I mean, it's a massacre. And nobody wants to watch that. So anyway.
When I got to fly down to Tempe, Arizona, and watch the Insight.com Bowl, Iowa State play Pittsburgh, and a certain wide receiver you may have heard of whose name is Larry Fitzgerald.
Oh, yeah.
The Iowa State people were absolutely giddy. That might as well have been the Super Bowl.
Oh,
yeah.
And Iowa went to the Alamo Bowl, and you're like, oh, the Alamo Bowl. It's San Antonio. It's like December. It's December 29th. Whoopie-doo. Hey, December 29th in South Texas, you get to get the hell out of frozen. You get the hell out of frozen 10-degree Iowa.
Yeah.
And go someplace warm and spend a week down there over the. That matters to these people, and it matters to these teams.
It's beautiful. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly the point. But they try to put them on teams that are on par with them, and you can enjoy the game. You go down there.
Yeah.
It's not like you're trying to win national championship, but you're having a game to build for next year. It's a next year signal. You get more practice. You get a vacation. You have fun. I mean, there's a lot into it that the playoff thing here is messing around with. It's not good.
Well, man, I had to stand there and watch Ian Book and Notre Dame just absolutely beat the shit out of us down in Orlando.
Yeah, it was a mismatch.
Yeah, but the band kids got to go. It took them 2 days to get down. It took them 4 buses and 2 days to get down there, and they were just thrilled. I mean, it was the highlight of their college career. You know, the swag packages that the players got.
Yep.
You know, with DVDs and video games and all the stuff that the gifts that the players were given, which was all totally legal. I mean, this was a big deal, you know, and it got blown out, but you know, the experience.
Yeah, that's
you know, and the coaches will tell you. The coaches will tell you. Should we just stay at home, or should we go play in the Tangerine Bowl or the Blue Bonnet Bowl or the Allstate.com McDonald's Fritter Bowl or whatever?
Yeah,
That's 10 more practices.
Yeah. I like what Kevin says here. The bowl should be 5 versus 6, 7 versus 8, etc. I think what he's getting at is I'm assuming he's sitting here saying, let's say we keep the 4 teams, but we don't make the semifinals be like the Rose and the Sugar and alternate, you know, which I agree actually, because think about this. So obviously in college football, everyone wants to win the Golden Scepter and the national championship. You always want that, but like the Sugar Bowl is a traditional game. The Rose Bowl is a traditional game. I love it.
Well, Fiesta Bowl.
Right. Those are traditional games every year that I think need to be left alone from semifinals. Now, I do think semifinals should be on neutral field, but I don't think that should necessarily okay, if you want to go play it at the Superdome where the Sugar Bowl is, sure, but have the Sugar Bowl still be there, but don't count the semifinal as the Sugar Bowl. Okay. Same with the Rose Bowl. You want to have it on neutral field? Absolutely. Don't have it at home stadiums, but you know, I just feel like bowl games, you know, like Alabama last year won the Rose Bowl. But it wasn't just the Rose Bowl. It wasn't really. I mean, it was the semifinal.
Look, I should
just the Rose Bowl.
I would send this to you guys, but I'm going to have to, and maybe I will next time we're in a stream. I'm gonna email him and see if I can get his permission to pass it on. But Mike Rose, all Big 12 middle linebacker for Iowa State, one of the best linebackers you've never heard of.
Yeah.
He took his Fiesta Bowl swag package and spread it out on the bed of the Hyatt that they were staying at down in Glendale. Okay. And he took a picture of it and said, look what each and every one of us got. Now, he said, please don't share this. And he sent it to about 15 people, and I was one of those people.
Awesome.
And in that picture was a brand spanking new PS5.
Wow.
Oh.
A new what do you call them headsets the Jay-Z has, the
Beats?
Yeah, Beats or whatever that plays the music, like the earphones, the headsets. They got one of those. They got a PS5. There was like 10 different things on there. And he said there's $3,000 worth of gifts here if I had to go and buy them at the store.
Wow.
I'm gonna get mine.
And that went to each of the 85 scholarship players for the Cyclones and each of the 85 scholarship players for the Ducks.
Awesome.
They each got one.
Yep.
They each got a swag package. Now, how can you tell me that game didn't matter to those kids?
Yeah.
They were jumping up and down like they just won the one Wheel of Fortune, you know?
Yep.
Well,
what's up, Chess?
PlayStation is sponsoring Fiesta Bowl, so.
Well, here's my take on it, and also I think I actually muted my mic. But anyways,
yeah,
I don't. Wait, what?
Oh, I'm gonna email Mike here later and then see if I can get permission to, because I don't want to spread that picture around because he asked not to do it. But It's amazing.
Well, okay. Well, my take on it is I don't understand why in today's game we have to make all these big changes to satisfy everybody when no one's satisfied.
Because the teams want money. The teams want money.
It's about the
Texas
cash.
yeah, they want the money, and they're wanting to change because they don't feel like they're getting it because they don't get enough accolades, they don't get enough recruits. They can't.
I'll tell you why, because it's going to cost Clemson University $25,000 to send their band up to Charlotte when they play Georgia, and that money's got to be recovered. That money's got to be recovered somehow.
Right.
Clemson's
They don't send fans, J-Dub. You know that.
Clemson's going to lose. Clemson's going to lose $1,000 for every point they lose by against Georgia.
Yeah, well, I hope you're right because then that would mean that they'll know never to play Georgia again. But at the same time,
we were talking about it in a stream the other day.
Yeah.
I see some Georgia fans in here.
Yeah.
How would you like to have a paycheck arrive at your house tomorrow in the amount of the money the University of Georgia spent today, Sunday, to feed your football team?
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it costs to feed the Bulldogs football team and support staff today, what those kids went and ate today, how'd you like to have a check for that tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
I do. Amazing. What's going on,
Jess? You got any?
Jess, you okay?
You got any thoughts on this, Jess?
I don't know what we're talking about, but that sounds cool.
We're just talking
Okay,
in general about the expansion.
We're basically talking about how college football is going to end up in the future.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's
Turning into NFL light.
pretty much. That's about it, man.
And that's my
Happens-
biggest fear. The NFL is fine on its own, right? These players make a living off playing football.
Well,
you get
they
saved
have
up-
caps. They have caps on
Right.
spending too. The franchises do, right?
College football, we don't need two NFLs, and college football is heading in that direction, and it's just going to go down the drain, and it sucks. I'll leave it at that. Carry on.
Here's how much money's involved in the NFL.
Yep.
According to the new player contracts, according to the the NFLPA contract this year, you're the 53rd man on the roster. You're getting the league minimum. Okay, that's all you get. You get the league minimum. You get 17 paychecks instead of 16 because they're playing 17 games this year. Okay, before Uncle Sam takes his bite, and you're the lowest paid player on the team, each one of those 17 paychecks is going to be worth $42,000.
Wow. Wow.
Well, and I want to.
And if you make it, and if you are on an NFL team's practice squad,
Right.
the practice squad, you make $33,000 a year.
You don't even play.
Yeah, to be
You're
on
on
the
the
practice
squad.
squad,
You just
you're
practice
limited.
and sit on the bench.
You're limited to 10 hours of work.
Yep.
10 hours of work, 4 months out of the year, or 10 hours of work a week. You'll be 10 hours of work a week for 4 months of the year for $33,000 to be on the practice squad.
And I don't know about other people, but I wanted the people who like the NFL, but I don't want it to become like college. Like that's not what I want to see.
Right.
I don't want to see a 12-team playoff.
It's gonna be like a semi-pro NFL league, but I don't like that.
Because the Georgia fans like to make fun of Jake Fromm. Jake Fromm's terrible. Guess what? Jake Fromm's contract's going to pay him this year.
Oh.
$899,000. Don't feel too sorry for Jake Fromm. He's getting $899,000.
He's not taking. Hey, and with Josh Allen, if he's healthy, which 9 times out of 10 he's going to be, Fromm's not even seeing. He's not stepping foot on football grass.
Yeah,
he's not.
You want to laugh? You want to laugh at AJ McCarron and say AJ McCarron may have won 2 national championships, but he was a game manager. AJ McCarron is still in an NFL in the NFL, and he's on a roster. And guess what, kids? This year, if he draws his full salary, he'll have surpassed the $20 million in career earnings mark.
Wow!
I'll game manage for $20 million. a
Well,
8-year career and make $20 million. Yeah.
you know,
What's the song? How's that song go? Steve Miller, Take the Money and Run. There you go.
Yeah.
Go on, take money and run. Woo, woo, woo.
well,
All right.
what was I gonna say? Oh, maybe college should do what similar to what the NFL does, and if they cut their roster, then that gives more players
Right.
to go to other teams, which is I think they should cut down the rosters. 75 is too many.
Right.
It's 85 scholarships.
Oh,
well-
no, I'm talking about roster spots.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'd like to short it down to 65 or 60 because then talent goes to other places and other places can win.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I think.
Bottom line is that, like I mentioned before.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a college coach not having an absolute coronary over the idea of trying to run his program with 60 or 65 players. I just can't, because your too deep is 44, and then that doesn't leave room. If your starter's hurt, then you've got to have your third stringer ready because he moves into the too deep.
Yeah, that's a little too.
So that's 66.
Yeah.
I
think that's
how, look, Bama fans. Hello, Alabama fans. Hello, Gumpers. Hello, whatever you want to call us. You know why Bear Bryant won so often in the 60s and the 70s? Largely because his fourth string tight end who would have started at Clemson went to Tuscaloosa. Because there were unlimited scholarships and Bryant could throw the money around, and Bama was stockpiling players that would have played somewhere else.
Right.
That all disappeared when they put the scholarship limitations in.
Which
They
I
said,
feel like
they said, they used to say, Bryant would beat you with his players, and then he'd also beat you with yours. Well, that's because yours were on his team, not playing.
I mean, yeah, but I still think they should shorten the rosters because it gives talent to go to other places.
Yeah, it should be shortened.
It would. I agree. It would do that. It would thin it out.
Mhm.
I mean,
I just think it's too tight, the number. I mean, you probably go to, I don't know, 80 or 85 or 80.
And they
Yes,
should shorten.
It's 85 now. I can't see them ever going much below 75.
Well, they can't go below 60.
Hold on. I meant 60 to 65 roster spots, not
No,
scholarships.
that's too low. 75 is about as far as you can go.
Yeah,
70
you
70's
just
hard.
yeah.
I just think
I'm amazed. I don't care. I got the Bama helmet floating around in my icon here, but you can change that helmet to whatever team you want. I mean, you want to make it a Washington helmet, make it a Washington helmet. I'm amazed that these kids survive. I see them in practice. I go to 2 practices a week during the season.
Yeah.
Now, I don't get to Iowa practices very often, but I do occasionally. And I see them after the game. These athletes are beat up. I mean, they take a tremendous beating.
It's like being in a car wreck, Ballard.
Yeah. I don't know how. And like I say, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me what team you want to talk about. How any of these guys survive a 12, 13, 15. I don't know how the hell they do it.
They have to have the stamina to do it. And
Well, Nate, I get it, and you're right. But listen, there are kids they're 17, 18, and they start to play this in high school. They get to college and it ratchets up, and it gets even more physical, more violent, more power, more speed. And then you're going to ask them to go through another 3 games a year,
Right.
And then they're going to get the NFL, and you talking about now, it's a train wreck in the NFL per game. It ain't just a car wreck. I mean, they're going. I mean, it's a hell of a toll, and they're not even supposed to be, professionals. So I get a little ticked off about it.
You look at old NFL players, guys that played 10 years or so in the league.
Mhm.
And I'm not talking about big fat lummoxes that weigh 350 pounds. I'm talking about
Right.
superior athletes. They can't get up and down a flight of stairs. They got to have their wives help them in and out of their cars.
Mhm.
I mean, these guys are the supreme athletes of the world, and they're still in great shape, and their bodies are just mauled. They're just mauled.
Yeah, it takes a toll. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just think about this now. I want you to think about this now. Wherever you're at, you're in your living room, you're in your basement, wherever you're at right now. Okay.
Right.
In my
Imagine that you. Okay. Imagine follow my little J-Dub story here for a second. You stand up. You stand up and you take one step. Okay.
Right.
Then you just lay down on the floor. Real simple. Don't fall down. Just lay down on the floor.
right.
Okay.
Well, I can't do
Oh,
that. Yeah.
okay. All right. Just lay down on the floor, and then 3 or 4 guys are going to walk. 3 or 4 guys are going to walk into the room that you're in,
Mhm.
and they're going to lay 300 to 500 pounds worth of sandbags on top of your body.
Uh-huh.
They're not going to drop them on your body. They're going to real softly, real politely, real like, you okay? You okay? You okay? All right. Now, you didn't fall down. You laid down.
Right.
Okay. And you had the weight. You had 300 to 500 pounds just lightly laid on top of your body. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
Over and over and over again. Okay. Add to that equation the concussion of having that weight hit you at full speed, having you being driven into the ground, and then have that falling on top of you.
Dang.
I mean, the average person sitting in their living room in the United States of America has no idea what it would be like to have 400 or 500 pounds dropped on top of them.
There's a lot of tackles on, even on offensive lines. But I mean, you imagine great defenses, man. There are 300, 400 size pound linemen, and there's like 150, 160, like Devontae Smith size receivers out there, let's say. Now, at any given moment, those guys could go after you and take you down and fall on you. You better be in shape and ready for that moment, man. Because I mean, 400 pounds on like 160, that's a big load right there.
Yeah.
Hey, Ballard, I'm gonna
it-
jump. I've got to jump, so
Okay.
I'm gonna let you guys go. Okay.
All right, thanks, Huffer Billy,
Thanks
as
for
always.
let me be on, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Have a good one. Thank you. What were you going to say, Jeff?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, the concussion and the force and the
Yep.
and the weight and the
All at once, right?
for lack of a better word, the physics, the science of what is going on is just, I see collisions all the time that if somebody hit me like that, well, I'd be in the hospital. I mean, you might as well just put me right in the hospital. There's no way I could take a hit like that.
Right.
Yeah. Trying to still listen, just making some food right now.
Okay, what happened? Carter go live?
Did he? I don't know.
Just eating chips.
Carter is live, yeah.
He must be doing a BVD update.
Yeah.
What happened?
BVD, I guess, had surgery.
Oh, okay.
He had
To my
a
knowledge,
stroke.
according to Carter and D4,
No, BVD had a stroke.
he had a stroke, yeah. And he had surgery today, which apparently went well. They're trying to clean out a massive infection and get his kidneys functioning again. His kidneys are not working right. But he's going to have another surgery tomorrow morning.
Oh, no.
I love BVD to death, man. We definitely need to be praying for him.
Yeah,
of course, Carter, too. I'm sure, obviously, it's really tough on him right now.
It's definitely not tonsillitis. I mean, this is serious. This is not to be overly dramatic, but it is literally life-threatening serious. I mean, BVD is in trouble. He's in trouble, and he needs our prayers.
Yeah.
What's up?
What's up?
Uh,
Oh, yeah,
I mean, I think about going over there, but I'm kind of afraid that stream is just going to be a bunch of people. It's just going to be morose. Everybody's just going to be all upset. You know.
well, I mean, you can't blame them. I mean, BVD is a very.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. Don't
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I agree that people need to get together and talk about it. But I mean, it's
Right.
going to be.
So I need to.
You try to stay away. Like I can't be around too much like
Okay.
sad people because it gets me emotional. Is that kind of like where it gets you? I guess in a way.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's. I mean,
yeah.
I'll get all worked up. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes you just can't have that. But again, like definitely prayers for BBD, man. I mean, he's helped and forget subscribers and all, but man, he definitely has helped me out a lot. I wouldn't know half the people that I know on here if not for people like Lou and BBD. I probably, hell, I wouldn't know Chess. I mean, it all kind of connects back to him because I know everyone, always goes back and watches him and we all talk on his live streams. And, he has helped out a lot of people and he's helped me out. And, man, I kind of owe him something. So, BVD, if you ever watch this back, we love you, brother, and we're always praying for you. We're always here for you, and
Absolutely.
just it's tough times right now. But as a believer in Jesus, man, I know He's got a great plan, and He's gonna come through.
Indeed.
Yeah. I think Vic went over to see what was going on. I might go over too.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to end the stream here, but I appreciate y'all hanging out with me today.
Yep. You're welcome.
Yep. See y'all. Roll Tide, Jeff.
Roll Tide.
Yep.
See
See you,
y'all.
Jacob. Yep. See you, buddy. All right. I appreciate y'all showing up today. Y'all be praying for BVD, man. Go check out ACP Carter. He's live right now. The Vols Roadshow. Voice of College Football. Mark Rogers is live too. A couple people live. But y'all enjoy the Olympics this week, and I guess next week. I think it's like a 2-week thing. I don't know, but enjoy the Olympics. Be praying for our buddy Big Vol Daddy BVD. Just a great character and a human being. And BVD, again, if you ever watch this back, buddy, I love you. You mean a lot to me and everybody else, and we're praying for you. And just hope you get better, man. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Y'all know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe for more sports content. Check out the website. Y'all go subscribe to Big Vol Daddy. Subscribe to other people like Chess Hall, Uncle Lou. There's quite a few people to go check out. I love them all dearly. But again, BVD, you're going to get through this, buddy. We love you. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. Remember that always. God bless. And as always, Roll Tide Roll. Ballard Sports Media. Checking out. Love y'all. Peace out.
Okay. Roll down Tide. Good boy, son.